Hello, I'm Ted Gunderson, former Senior Special Agent in charge, FBI, Los Angeles. I have with me today my dear friend, Brice Taylor. Brice, you and I had an interview some time ago, very formal interview, in that it was, like as I recall, 2.5 hours long. And we're going to update it today, so it'll be rather short. Let me ask you a few questions. Today, for the first time, and this is February 22nd, I think it is, 1998, you name names. Before today, you refrained from naming names. Would you like to tell us who was involved in these various activities that you've described before?
Yes, I would, Ted. It's real scary for me, but I'd like to go on public record saying that my owner under mind control was Bob Hope, and that I was abused and used as a mind control sex slave by Ronald Reagan and a lot of different presidents, LBJ, Reagan, Ford, and I was programmed to have computerized mind files by Henry Kissinger, where I was used as an operative within the intelligence faction of the government, targeting people that he and Nelson Rockefeller had an agenda to bring in certain individuals into the fold, they called it, to work on behalf of the New World Order. And so they used me to manipulate and blackmail people in order to bring them in, people that were either wealthy, had a lot of talent, or knew something, had connections or whatever.
Or money.
Money. The money was the end goal of everything.
And what were you asked to do?
I was sent in usually with very detailed programming instructions where I was drugged and electroshocked and food and sleep deprived in order for them to lay in programming that would be specifically targeted to a certain individual, and I would be it would depend on what the profile of the person was, but I was usually sent in with instructions to seduce a person and then to deliver a whole regime of instructions or information that they had programmed me to deliver.
So you were used for blackmail purposes?
And to keep the people that were working with the New World Order agenda organized.
And now we went into detail last time about how you had your photographic memory, and you could read a series of documents and memorized it, and they could call on you and say what happened on what was on page 395, and you could come forth with
right. Actually, Henry Kissinger sent me into the National Archives and different places in Washington, D.C., where I was instructed to go in and have perfect photographic memory. So instead of like reading and memorizing, it was just that I was programmed to be able to photograph with my mind different documents so that anything that they would need at any time would be available to them.
Did they ever expose you to any psychiatric examinations of any sort?
Actually, I was being monitored at UCLA Neuropsychiatric Institute in Los Angeles, and Dr. Jolyon West was involved with this. They did a lot of mind control programming there, and I reported there at different times when I was told to, for my programming to be either updated or reinforced or whatever. My father also had brain surgery at UCLA Neuropsychiatric Institute when I was 16, and after he recovered what he was able to recover from that, he knelt down on the floor at my bedside when I was 16 and said, "Honey, I've lost control of you. Big things are happening, and I'm really sorry, but there's nothing I can do to help you."
Because if he had resisted, he would probably have been taken out.
Right.
So Dr. Jolly West is head psychiatrist, head of the psychiatric department at UCLA.
Yes, and he worked with Reagan back in the time when Reagan was governor, and they were working on the prison population there in California, working with the mind control experiments on the prisoners.
So Do you feel like you know Jolly West real well? I mean, what kind of treatment would he give you?
Oh, I was, usually it was his staff that I reported to, but they would drug me and do all kinds of electroshock, light and sound therapies, things where they actually put electrode caps on my head and did very sophisticated programming that I don't understand the technology behind it, but that's what they did.
So what about military bases? Did you ever receive any treatments at military bases?
I was taken to military bases all over the country at different stages of my programming and was subjected to all kinds of equipment there, deprivation tanks, sensory deprivation tanks, spin chambers, light and sound technologies that they used, virtual reality where they were using electroshock and drugs and hypnotic technique. I mean, it was just endless.
Now, when you mentioned the presidents a few moments ago, are you saying that you had sex with all these presidents?
Yes.
What about Jimmy Carter?
I never had sex with Jimmy Carter.
How about homosexual sex with somebody at the White House?
What, Jimmy Carter?
No. I mean, with another woman.
Oh, yes, I
did. Did they program you to have sex with other women?
Yes.
You want to name those names?
No. I don't. This is the worst thing. I don't. No.
Okay. All right. Very good. Why are you laughing?
I hate it. It's embarrassing. It's just
I'm sorry
it's terrible.
if I embarrassed you.
No, I mean, it's just really awful. Anyway.
Well, no, you're programmed. It's not your fault.
I know.
I know it's not your fault. Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry I
That's
asked
okay.
the
That's
question.
okay. No,
Okay.
that's all right.
Okay, well, anything else you want to add?
Just that George Bush, that Kelly, my daughter Kelly, was used as a presidential model sex slave for George Bush at the same time I was used when Reagan was president. And she was only like 2.5, 3 years old when that started with Bush, and that, right now she's in a group home because she's so severely disturbed
This
from
is
all
Kelly.
the programming. Kelly.
Yes, and I've had you on my radio talk show, and we put out a plea for financial help for Kelly. I hope that you did receive some results.
Actually, I haven't received any financial assistance
At all? Not
all.
even from the radio talk show?
Mm-mm.
Well, I'm sorry about
So,
that.
It'll be forthcoming.
We tried.
That's right.
Okay, thanks very much.
Thank you. Cut.